Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning into the show. Do me a favor, share the show, text it out to a friend, share it to your social media. Let's get those numbers up. I don't know what platform you're listening on, whether it be YouTube or Rumble, but hit that subscribe or follow button if you have not done so already.
This is my last word. No!
How dare you? So, big news of the day. I want to talk about Billie Eilish, this hypocrite. So I'm going to get right into it because it just cracks me up. Now, first of all, it's funny when I was not watching the Grammys. My wife and daughter were. And I almost wish I could be a dictator. I could go, not in my house. And I'd be overruled, very much so. So that's fine if you guys want to watch it. I'm not watching it. But I was like in the other room periodically, and I swear I understand. The older I get, the more like Archie Bunker I'm becoming, because all I was doing was like basically yelling at the TV. They were like trying to enjoy it, and I'm just like, bunch of hypocrites, and here's why, and it kind of comical. But I do it in a comedic type way where I'm laughing, and my wife's like, "You're getting too worked up." I'm like, a little bit, but at the same time, I'm joking, but also not really. So you hear all these Hollywood, again, celebrity hypocrites. They irritate me because I am so sick of them. Some of this will piggyback off of last week's show. So if you haven't watched it, it's the same kind of narrative. It's the same thing where it's like Barack Obama, as of right now, deported more illegals than any president in history. Where was the outrage then? And then the other thing too, when all these presenters and people, they win their awards, and again, they're rich and elite, and they have their gated properties, and believe me, I'm going to get more into that. But where was the outrage when that was going on? You didn't hear them, the Emmys, the Grammys, and think about what sheep they are, what robots they are. During COVID, their speeches were all about like, everybody mask up, and we've all got to stick together. We're all in this together. Everybody mask up, and it's just they just follow their sheep. They follow the narrative. What's the biggest thing right now? F-IFs, but the funny thing is, all these people that were talking against ICE, it's all basically what they're doing. If you listen to them, it's all. Immigrants built this country, immigrants belong here. Yeah, nobody is debating that. I am fine with immigrants being here legally. I have and for the whole thing about like, if the narratives, you're on the right, you're a conservative, you're a white supremacist, you're a Nazi. No, sorry. And it's the same thing. I got into it with this guy who hates Trump, and I said, watch the narrative. It's going to be the exact same thing. Watch whoever runs next time. JD Vance, DeSantis, whoever, whatever, fill in the blank. They're a racist. They're a white. It's just always the same narrative. It's not, it's because of Trump. No, it's going to be the same exact thing. Anyone who runs as a Republican is a white racist, white supremacist. Do your history, people. Look, who wanted to abolish slavery? Who voted against abolishing slavery? But it's funny, like, people don't really know things, and they just, Republican white supremacists. No, there's plenty of I love black Republicans. I love them. They're my favorite type of Republican, of a conservative, is a black conservative. I love listening to them. Listen, it's like, oh, divine. I love it. So again, they're all talking about like, immigrants belong here. Immigrants, yeah, legal immigrants belong here. You are right. I have the exact same thought process. I don't care. I've said this before. If you could be the whitest of the whitest, from Scotland, from Ireland, your butt cheeks have never seen the sun, and if you're here legally, welcome. If you're here illegally, and this applies to the white, Scottish, Irish, whatever, get out. It's simple. It's not color of skin, legal versus illegal. But the Hollywood elites, the celebrities that keep talking about it, they just rope them into one. And so let me dummy it down for you, the Billie Eyelashes and all these other people. And I know I'm saying her name incorrectly on purpose, obviously. So but again, these people that live in their gated communities, and they're protected. So they get up on stage and they just virtue signal. That's all they're doing. They're just following the trend because they're a bunch of sheep. They have gated communities. They have security. I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Billie's Eyelash spends $1 million a year in security. Why? Your doors should be open, right? Everybody should be able to just walk right into your house, according to you. You know, again, we're all on stolen land, and everyone's already piled up on that one, and I agree, give it back then. But also at the same, Billie's Eyelash and these other celebrities. Let me make it real simple for you, because you guys don't seem to connect the dots very, very easily. If you were having a party at your house and you invited people to come into your house for the party, they should be at the party. Now, if you catch a bunch of people, I didn't invite that person. What did most people do? You have to leave the party. You were not invited. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. So according to Billie's Eyelash and all these other people, these celebrity elites, again, gated communities, security, nonstop, rich and fit, right? You try going onto their, it's almost like I wish you could tell all these celebrities, you could tell a bunch of illegal immigrants show up at their house. They're virtually signing. They say it live on TV in front of millions of people, or whoever, how many watch now. They're basically saying F ICE and illegals belong here. So you should go to their houses. And by the way, I'm not telling people to do this because that would be wrong to do. But I'm making a strong example. It's the same thing with Don Lemon and the whole church thing. You have a right to cover stories. What you don't have a right is to go in. The priest at this church was telling him to get out. He didn't get out. You're not invited here. Get out. It's the same exact thing. So again, for the dumb libtards that for some reason don't understand this, legal, excellent. Come in. I don't know one conservative. I don't know anyone on the right personally, or that I've heard talking about, is just against anyone. Maybe like someone like a Nick Fuentes, and I don't even know what his stance is. I don't give him any time of day. I think he's just a troll. I don't know much about him. I literally don't. But I think he's the type of guy, he's just a troll. And so the more, basically the bigger platform you give him by keep saying his name, and he just gets bigger. Just ignore him. A guy like that, just ignore. But he doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent anyone I know on the right. So besides him, I don't know anyone who's, we got to keep brown people out of here. No, I don't know anyone who thinks like that. I literally don't. And I haven't heard anyone talk like that. But that's the narrative. That is the narrative when you hear the left talking about the right. The narrative is they don't want brown people here. When did you come up with that? We don't want illegal brown people here. We don't want illegal white people here. It's pretty damn simple. If you're here legally and then, oh my gosh, by the way, I've heard of Hispanic Americans that have come here legally. They do not like people coming here illegally. You know why? They stood in line. They did it the right way. They took their test. They did the whole thing. They are American citizens by doing it the right way. So they don't like when people come here illegally. It's pretty simple, people. It's pretty simple. But see, you watch their wording, and then that's where you're getting everything. They don't want immigrants here. Immigrants built this country. No one is denying that. No one's saying no to that. Illegal, and especially if you're here illegally. And again, where these celebrities that get up there and virtue signal and F ICE and say all this stuff, where were you, Lake and Riley, and on, all these victims of illegal aliens? You had nothing to say. The Jimmy Kimmels, the Billie Eyelashes, I can go on and on, all of you. You had nothing to say when they were murdered. You don't know their names. You didn't say their names. Jimmy Kimmel gets on stage and cries all the time, bleeding heart liberal. Didn't have anything to say when Riley, trying to talk too fast. You had nothing to say about her. So That's what I hate. Here's the other thing too. Billie Eilish, she said, go out there and protest and keep fighting. Not her though, not her. She's got to go back home in her $14 million mansion. Here's the other thing that I just love about these celebrities. You talk a big game. You sure do run your mouth. But if all of you celebrities put your properties together, and if you were really serious about what you're saying, do you know how many people you can house on your properties? How many illegal immigrants that you care so much? You care so much, don't you? You care so much. You have millions and millions of dollars and millions of acres. You guys, all you celebrities who virtue signal and just speak to each other and clap because you're all in the same club, you don't do anything to help. But you talked, you said it, right? You got your little pin that says F ICE, ICE out, right? Good for you, virtual signal. Now do something about it. So Billie Eilish tells everyone to go out and protest. Excellent, but you go home to your mansion, right? That you could house so many illegals in. So they're hypocrites. They should be called out for being hypocrites. Again, it's the same thing with Martha's Vineyard. All of these libtards that live in Martha's Vineyard, all they talked about illegals. They should be here. They built the country, right? But DeSantis sends them to Martha's Vineyard. Within 48 hours, the National Guard gets them out. And then they have the nerve to say they enriched our lives. You are a bunch of freaking hypocrites. So what you're saying is, same thing what I was saying before about Leonardo DiCaprio. Climate change. The climate is so important. We care about the climate. I care about the climate. But you guys have to do better. I still get to go on my yachts. I still get to fly private planes. You guys need to unplug your microwave at night. You guys need to do better. I don't. You guys do. That's the same thing. These celebrities that say that, F ICE and ICE out and so on and so forth, you guys go out and protest. I'm going to go home to my mansion with my security and here's the funny thing. You earned your money. Good for you. Quit running your mouth though, especially about things you're so hypocritical on. It's better just to shut up. I heard that Jelly Roll got up there and he was praising Jesus and thanking God, and it's all about Jesus. And I heard that he got some scrutiny for saying that. Like, in other words, he didn't condemn ICE. He should have got there and condemned ICE. I like celebrities like that where I honestly don't know what side of the aisle Jelly Roll's on. And guess what? I like that. He got up there. I know that he believes in Christ. I know he believes in Jesus. I like that. He proclaimed that very loudly on stage in front of millions of people. But he didn't virtue signal. He didn't talk about how bad ICE is and how bad. Again, dude, ladies too. They're speaking to each other. They want to look good to each other. Oh, congrats, Billie Eilish. High five to you. You condemned ICE. Go back to your mansion and don't do anything to help. Don't do anything to. Can you imagine with their security and their gated communities? Can you imagine I wish this would happen. I really wish this would happen. I'm not saying it because, again, I'd probably get in more trouble. She should say F ICE and people should go out and protest. She doesn't get in trouble. But if I say this in a serious manner, so I'm slightly joking, but I wish I wish a million illegal immigrants would show up at these celebrities' houses and say, hey, you guys are part of the cause, right? We're good. We're tight. We're going to stay here. We're going to sleep here. Watch how fast. Whoa, no, you can't come into my property. You can't come in my house. But wait a minute. You get up on the Grammy stage. You say F ICE. You say, it's the whole stolen land thing. You should be welcoming us into your house and into your property. Oh, no, then it's different. So they're such liars. And that's the kind of stuff I was yelling at the TV, Archie Bunker moment. And my wife my wife's like, will you stop? And I'm like, it's so aggravating to me. All they do is get up there and talk about how much they hate Trump. And by the way, too, another thing I heard, and I yelled at the TV for, Trevor Noah, he said something, he was dissing Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj was not invited to the Grammys. Why? And I said, see? They all, if you support Trump, you can't. It was Kid Rock at the Grammys, was probably not. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to say pretty strongly, probably not. Nicki Minaj, he said not invited here because she's at the White House. Basically, she's chums and buddies with Trump now. So you have to be in the group. You sheep have to all think the same way, or you're not invited to our little parties in our club. So Fascism, people? Which side is the fascism on? It's insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me. Uh, so, like I said, do me a favor, share the show, text it out to a friend. I want to see the numbers go up. I've been, like I said, I've been hammering out these shows, so I want to see the support go up. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. There was a gentleman, I want to say his name is Luke, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think based off of his screen name, I think it might be Luke. I'm speaking to you. He left a nice comment the other day on my last episode. He left it on YouTube. I would like to see more people listening on Rumble, to be quite honest, because YouTube did their thing a few years ago, which is why for the most part, stopped promoting YouTube, is with the whole COVID crap. So they turned me off. So I honestly would rather people listen on Rumble, to be quite honest. So if you haven't already subscribed on Rumble, it's the Scott Ford Show, all one word, the Scott Ford Show, no separation, all one word, the Scott Ford Show, and hit a follow on Rumble. And with that, my friends, thank you so much for your support. Enjoy your life, and I will see you next week.
Daddy, Daddy, you're so awesome. Daddy, Daddy, you're so cool. Yeah!